The world calls it anxiety and hands him a word that explains nothing. But a man braced against a danger that is not there is not malfunctioning. He is remembering. His body is keeping faith with an old emergency that everyone but him has forgotten. I am speaking to the man who cannot put the weapon down. You are safe. By every measure you could name, you are safe and you cannot feel it. The unease does not need a reason. It is there in the morning before anything has happened, there in the quiet that should be peace, there underneath the good day you cannot quite sink into. You brace, you scan, you keep one eye on the exits of a room where nothing is wrong, and when someone tells you to relax, to let go, to stop worrying, the words bounce off you because they are addressed to a decision, and your problem is not a decision. Your problem is a body that will not stand down. I am going to tell you what that bracing actually is, and it is not a disorder, and it is not your character. Beneath your unease is the most fundamental need a human being has, the need for security, for ground, for the felt certainty that you are safe enough to exist without standing guard. It is the first need, the root need, the floor the whole house of a man is built on, and in you that floor was never properly laid. Somewhere earlier than memory in most men, you learned that safety could not be assumed, that the ground could give way, that the people who were supposed to make the world steady made it instead unpredictable, or dangerous, or simply absent when you needed them to be solid. And a child who learns that does the only intelligent thing available to him. He posts a sentry. He assigns a part of himself to watch the perimeter at all times, to never fully rest, to keep the early warning system running through every hour of every day. Because if you cannot trust the ground, you had better watch it. That sentry saved you. Hear that clearly because it matters. The bracing was not weakness. It was the survival intelligence of a boy who could not afford to be caught unguarded, and it worked, and you are here. But the war that posted him ended long ago, and no one ever came to relieve him of duty. So he stands at the wall still, decades later, scanning a horizon where the enemy left a lifetime ago, unable to imagine that he is permitted to sit down. The hum you feel is the sound of him refusing his own rest. Your inability to relax is not a flaw in you. It is a soldier still keeping faith with an emergency that is over. And watch how the wound bends, because it bends two ways. One man collapses into the fear. He becomes timid, small, dependent, organizes his whole life around avoiding risk, lets the bracing shrink his world to the size of a bunker. The other man swings the opposite direction entirely. He becomes the controller, the hoarder, the one who white-knuckles every variable, who builds and accumulates and grips, certain that if he can just secure enough, control enough, stockpile enough, the dread will finally release him. It never does. The fortress is never tall enough, the savings never large enough, the plan never tight enough, because the threat he is defending against is not in the world. It is the old unlaid floor, and no amount of external security can pour a foundation that was supposed to be set in the soul. The timid man and the controlling man are the same frightened boy. One hides from the threat. The other tries to outbuild it. Neither has been told the thing that would end it. The war is over, and he is allowed to come down off the wall. So the work is not to talk yourself out of the fear with logic. You have tried, and logic does not reach the sentry, because the sentry was posted before logic could speak. And it is not to build a bigger fortress which only feeds the thing it claims to fight. The work is to lay the floor that was never laid, to teach the body, not the mind, the body, that it is safe enough now to stand down, to go back to the place where the ground gave way and let the man you are now become the steadiness the boy never had. This is not done in an afternoon, and it is not done by force. It is done by slowly, patiently convincing a faithful old soldier that he is finally, truly allowed to rest. I wrote of this man in Awaken Your Shadow, the secure self, the ground beneath all the other selves, and the insecure self who takes his place when the floor was never set. If you felt the truth of this in your own braced and humming body, that is where the road continues. You are not an anxious man by nature. You are a man guarding a wall the enemy abandoned long ago, who was never given the order he has been waiting his whole life to hear. So hear it now. The war is over. You are allowed to come down. You are safe enough to set the weapon down and rest. But knowing that and feeling it are two different countries, and the Sentry will not be argued across the border because he does not live in your reasoning. He lives in your body. And here is the secret underneath everything on this channel. Every pattern you have ever fought, the anger, the anxiety, the sabotage, comes from one exile. One, something in you was banished before you were old enough to object, and this exile has been running your life from the dark ever since. This exile is the reason insight fades by morning. It is the reason discipline holds for 3 weeks and then folds. It overrides intelligence, willpower, even faith, because the part of you that was banished took your power with it when it left. This exile lives in the body, and the body opens its gates at night when the defenses finally come down. This is why I created the Somatic Shadow Work Sleep Learning series. Each meditation in this series dives into a different dimension of your inner self. As you relax and listen, you will feel the fears, insecurities, and limitations of your daily life begin to dissolve. With daily repetition, a sharper and more self-assured version of you will begin to emerge. This higher self has been within you all along, awaiting its activation. You will find a link to this Somatic Shadow Work series below this video, or simply click the video that shows up in the final screen of this one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more like it.